Hello, welcome to ISOJ. Nice to have you back. So today, let's talk about the NBA season starting yesterday. But before we get onto that, I want to talk about how this off-season was. There was a lot, and I didn't really get to cover it. I've been busy doing other things. But let's just get the first one out of the way. Olympic basketball. You know how nice it was as a European basketball fan to see. I could wake up and there's like 5 games. Cool, sick. That's what I love to see. Now I have to wait till about like the next day, and I think that's the problem with being an NBA fan, and especially an NBA fan who wants to do like content creation for it, is that I have to wait until the next day, so I'm always the last to hear about the news. There's probably been like tons of videos, but it helps me formulate an opinion. Anyway, let's go on to it, shall we? So, Celtics. That was disgusting. It's one of those games where you think about it and you look at it again. I watched this one as much as I could until I realized that I would much rather sleep than watch the last quarter of this, because they were up like 30 going into the fourth, and it was just it was painful to watch. This year, I've decided, because being a European fan, I wanted to start watching I wanted to find a team that I liked on the East Coast so I could actively watch their games and participate like a fan would. I chose the Knicks because, they have Mikal Bridges, they have Campaign, so that is that old 2021 Phoenix squad inside there, just a bit. And man, what a horrific choice I made. Tough one. Mikal Bridges seemed to have forgot how to shoot in the preseason, going 2-24. And if you've seen the clips and you've seen it on Twitter and you've seen it on Reddit and wherever, you've seen that his form has been tweaked. And I'm not a fan of, realistically, right? Mikal was a great shooter and was great in Phoenix, great in Brooklyn, but deciding to tweak it here, and it adds like a little hitch to it, especially because he's got such long arms that when you see it, his arms are like 6 feet on top of his body. I mean, not really, but the ball is that high up where it just looks uncomfortable. And I get it, you want to do it if you have your jump shot with an incredibly high release, no one's going to block it, right? Or no one, the contest doesn't matter as much. The problem is, it's not working. So that's a little something. It was nice to see Mikal bridging into the second half of the game really well. Had 3 back-to-back points. The jump shot definitely went back and looked normal again, so he can still do it. So I'm not too worried about it. It's just first game of the season. The Celtics probably felt crazy good going into this one. You get your rings. You're playing at home, first game of the season, and especially with the Olympics happening, I think they had so much to prove. I think Jason Tatum not getting that many minutes, Jaylen Brown not even being invited. The other two had fun, I guess, but their 2 stars sort of being snubbed from the Olympics. Yeah, these 2 came out and they had something to prove today. So, great win. I think it was a 30-something point win. I don't know, I stopped watching after the second half. What more can you say? Because I don't know if there's much to take away from a win like this, because it was just a generational night. It was the Celtics made every shot they took. If you watch this highlight video back for yourself, just go back, or just do it now if you really want to. And you can count how many non-3-point shots are in this reel, or in this highlight tape, right? It's crazy. I think they set the record for threes made in a game. What can you do? Something like that isn't going to happen every night, but with the way the Celtic team works, that's going to happen a lot. And yeah, I don't know what to say for the Knicks, because in theory, right, this Knicks team was built in order to stop the Celtics. You have your 2 big wing stoppers in Mikal and OG. Perfect for what they do, right? I gotta say, this is a brilliant game for Miles McBride. I also didn't know his name was Deuce, so that one confused me a bit hearing RG say that, but hey. But yeah, watching Miles McBride this game, it was one of those where it's look, we're down 20. Just give him the ball and let him cook, man. It's so fun to watch. Just pure hot hand ball, right? There was I think it's early in the second quarter, or it might have just been the first play of the second quarter, he hits a crazy step back corner 3 on Drew Holiday. I'm like, oh, okay, that's where we are with this guy. So yeah, I don't want to overreact because it's game 1 out of 82, But hey, excellent showing by the Celtics. Tough game for the Knicks. You'll bounce back. Judging by the end of the game and towards the latter half when Mikal Bridges really found himself again, I think he'll be fine. A lot of people are, if you haven't seen it, there's an Osama bin Laden Mikal Bridges picture on Twitter that's just everywhere now. Well, maybe for me it's everywhere. But just seeing that would made me laugh after this horrific performance by the Knicks. It wasn't horrific. That's what I shouldn't say that. It wasn't horrific. It was just, what can you do to stop a team that's this white hot, you know? So yeah, I guess that's all I'll say about the Knicks for now, and the Celtics. I can just turn around. Yeah, no, 109-132 to the Celtics. Hey, what can you do? Okay, so second part of last night's back-to-back on TNT. Just as a side note, because this is basically the halftime equivalent, man, this being the last season of Inside the NBA makes me so sad. But anyway, on to the Lakers. What a game. I think this is best defined by the performance of the role players. That being said, Anthony Davis also drops a monster 30-point game. I think he had like 13 rebounds too. Watching the highlights and just the condensed version of the game, you really get to see the difference that JJ Redick makes. Okay, hi. Hello from the editing group. It's me. I'm back again. Look at my reflection. Hi. Anyway, just wanted to add, didn't really make a point about the role players in this game, but the role players did really well. Dalton Connect came off the bench really nice, like 5 points in 10 minutes. Jackson Hayes, 10 points in 15 minutes or so. Austin Reeves had 12 points, 9 assists, I think. Suffice to say, very good performance from the role players, very good performance from the bench, and it was just kind of a team win. 36 points, 16 rebounds for AD as well. I misquoted that in the beginning of this, but there you go. I'm seeing a lot of tweets and just stuff about just being able to take a timeout, you know. Oh, the Wolves went on a 5-0 run. Let's take a timeout. Let's slow this down. And a lot of people doubted JJ going into this season because realistically, who wouldn't? It's a guy who was best known for the podcast that he did and Mind the Game and Old Man in the Three. Also, which has now turned into Young Man in the Three and has first guest Barack Obama, which is cool to see. But anyway, onto the game. What performance. One of the teams I was very worried about going into this season was the Minnesota Timberwolves. Because yes, you do trade sort of fringe all-star for fringe all-star. I get it. But for what Cat does for this team versus what Julius Randle does is a bit different. Julius Randle is a lot slower of a player, I'd say, in terms of pace. And I don't think the Timberwolves are necessarily a very fast team outside of Anthony Edwards and pick and rolls with Rudy and Mike Conley. But it's enough to say that nothing really impressed me that much with Julius Randle today. And I'm a bit of a doubter, and I loved Minnesota last year. Seeing them this year is a bit I'm not gonna... Part of the reason I never did a video about the trade for Cat and Randle is the fact that I wasn't entirely sure and sold at the time. And I think even to this point, I'm still not sure or sold. Yeah, so Julius Randle is coming off an injury, and that's fine. I get it. It does take a bit of time to get yourself back into the groove of things. I'm not going to overreact this early into the season because, again, like I said before, it's game 1 out of 82. We'll see what happens. It was lovely to see Bronny and LeBron have that moment where they both checked into the game at the same time. I genuinely thought they were just going to start him and then pull him out after 2 minutes. Just for because I saw Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. were in the crowd too. But either way, it's good to have that moment. It's tough for Bronny. He didn't really get to score in his first NBA game, but hey, realistically for the 55th pick, I wasn't expecting much either. And you know what's crazy is seeing so many people gamble on Bronny James being Rookie of the Year, and it's I get it. If you want to do that, it's fine. It's your money at the end of the day. But really, you're just giving it to a $1 billion corporation. That's all it is. Anyway, this was a more exciting of a game than the Celtics Knicks, but I don't know. I don't even know if there's any detractors for it, actually. it wasn't as down to the wire as you want it. It was a bit of a clear cut Lakers win after a certain point. Watching Anthony Edwards heat up is such a beautiful sight because he's currently like one of my favorite players going into this season. Someone who I'm really looking forward to see. Just because, like, yeah, we had that breakout Anthony Edwards season. We saw him during the Olympics. He is that guy now. I do think they miss Cat a bit, and it's something to say. And one of the biggest notes I made about this series was the fact that, like, the Lakers shot terribly from three. I think it was like 3 of 21. They shot 16%. An anomaly, yes, but you can't. I find it so mind-boggling to lose to a team that's shooting 3 for 21. And I'll go back and I'll probably, who knows, just for my sake, I want to actually watch this game properly and see things like turnovers and see how the Lakers managed to do this. Because in any game, right, if the Celtics didn't shoot 60% and they shot 16%, I don't think they win. And especially when, like, what, 20, that's a lot of missed opportunities to actually do something. For the Lakers to win whilst shooting that poorly, it says a lot about them. So, like, a lot of this win comes from Minnesota turnovers. I think it was like 15-7. From that and how prevalent the Lakers were on offensive rebounding, you get to see why this team won the game. Like, even whilst you're shooting so terribly from three, if you're getting so many opportunities to make twos that you're making, it's good. And it works. Seeing JJ Redick really turn this team around, I get it, it's one game. I can't say he's turned the team around, but they look a lot more fluid. They look a lot more engaged. They look a lot more into it. And I think that's all you really want to see as a Lakers fan. And I'll probably shoot this later today as well because, like, hey, we're at first day in the season. I can still do a predictions video. But, like, I think the Lakers are going to be good this year. I still think the Timberwolves are going to be, like, a top 5, top 3 team maybe. But I think the Lakers are definitely going to be a playoff team. And I think they're going to make some noise this year. It's crazy what a coach does, right? So, with that, I want to thank you for watching this video. There'll definitely be more coming down the line. I mean that this time because I've less to do now. I'm stuck here. It's like COVID again, but not really. But yeah, thank you for watching. Next video will be out someday. But for now, have a good one.